At the beginning of the 19th century, Christmas was hardly celebrated. Many businesses did not even consider it a holiday. However, by the end of the century, it had become the biggest annual celebration and took the form that we recognize today. The transformation happened pretty quickly, and it came from all sectors of society. One of the most significant seasonal traditions to emerge from the Victorian era is the Christmas card. It was Sir Henry Cole, the first director of the V&A, who introduced the idea of the Christmas card in 1843. Cole commissioned the artist J.C. Horsley to design a festive scene for his seasonal greeting cards and had printed 1,000. Though he didn't use all of them himself, leftovers were sold to the public. Later in the century, improvements to the chromolithographic printing process made buying and sending Christmas cards affordable for everyone. And boy were they odd. Christmas at this time was not seen as a somber religious occasion, but a time for games, fun, and friends. Because of the make merry focus, cards were meant to bring a laugh. That's how you get some odd cards like this, which features what I assume is a Jack Frost type creature coming to beat up an unsuspecting victim. Many attribute the change to Queen Victoria, and it was her marriage to German-born Prince Albert that introduced some of the most prominent aspects of Christmas. In 1848, the Illustrated London News published a drawing of the royal family celebrating around a decorated Christmas tree, a tradition that was reminiscent of Prince Albert's childhood in Germany. Soon, every home in Britain had a tree decked with candles, sweets, fruit, homemade decorations like what we're going to make today, and some small gifts. Decorating the home at Christmas also became a more elaborate affair. The medieval tradition of using evergreens continued. However, the style and placement of these decorations became more important. The old custom of simply decking the walls and windows with sprigs and twigs was sniffed at. Uniformity, order, and elegance were encouraged. There were instructions on how to make elaborate synthetic decorations for those residing in towns. In 1881, Castle's Family Magazine gave strict directions to the lady of the house. To bring about a general feeling of enjoyment, much depends on the surroundings. It is worthwhile to bestow some little trouble on decoration of the rooms. That was my best Dowager Countess impression. The Christmas feast has its roots from before the Middle Ages, but it's during the Victorian period that dinner we now associate with Christmas began to take shape. However, there was no turkey widely available at this time. RIP. In North England, roast beef became the traditional fare, and in the South, goose or even swan. The English tradition of wassail and serving plum pudding transitioned to America in many areas. The plum pudding held charms, holding symbolism for the person who ended up with that particular piece. A ring for marriage, a coin for wealth, and a silver thimble for a happy yet single life of a spinster. While Charles Dickens did not invent the Victorian Christmas, his book A Christmas Carol is credited with helping to popularize and spread the traditions of the festival. Its themes of family, charity, goodwill, peace, and happiness encapsulate the spirit of the Victorian Christmas and is very much part of the Christmas we celebrate today. Without further ado, let's get started. Today we're going to be making a paper wreath and a paper Christmas ornament. So let's get started with your materials. First, I have some old pages of books, some gold foil. You can use the other side as well. I've got glitter, some printed cutouts I have. And you could do some research as to which ones you would like on your ornaments. I've got twine, of course scissors and glue, and I like to use double-sided tape. It just makes things easier. So let's start with our wreath. I'm going to start by cutting pieces of the double-sided tape just to prep, to make sure that I have everything laid out for me. I ended up cutting about 15 to 20 pieces. Now let's get started. We're going to start by rolling our pieces of paper in a small cone. You can experiment with the lengths of the paper or the sizes. I'm cutting mine a bit shorter because the shorter, wider rolls that you have, the less you're going to need. So I'm rolling my first cone into about a decent size. You can kind of eyeball it and adjust if need be. And then I'm going to place my double-sided tape on the top and tape it shut. It's okay if you need more tape, you're more than welcome to do that. Sometimes you can do glue and put it on the side like white Elmer's glue, but we are going to glue it all together, so that'll be sturdy. Grab a hot glue gun and start gluing the pieces on the sides. And on the last piece, you're going to glue on both sides and very carefully place it in your wreath. It's okay if you have to adjust. Okay, and it's pretty much done. Time to decorate. I cut a oval out of my gold piece of foil and I am going to put some glitter on it. So I'm just going to put some glue on the edges, and then I'll sprinkle some glitter on the wet glue. Now I'm going to figure out how I want to place my image, and I glue it. We're going to glue the foil onto the wreath. Of course, if you use glitter, it's going to go everywhere. And then I'll glue on my image how I'd like it. Just glue a loop of string to the back and you've got your paper wreath. Now let's start with our second one. I've got a whole bunch of floral origami paper here. You can use scrapbook paper, you can use regular paper or newspaper, but I'm going to use this. I like these two colors because it's very like traditional Victorian wallpaper, in my opinion. So I'm going to start by taking one piece and folding it accordion style. I don't know if you would do this in school all the time like I would, but just one after the other until you do the whole piece. Okay, and then you will pinch it at the top and glue it so that it's secure. Now, I'm going to do another piece. I cut one piece of origami paper in half, but I didn't like that. So I did two pieces in half and then glued them together. You fold it the same way and then glue it to the top of your other piece. Once again, I cut a circle out of gold foil and I'm going to glue it on top and glue my image on top of that. Instead of doing glitter on the gold foil, I chose to do it on the paper itself. So you'll see what that looks like in just a second. You can add whatever embellishments you like. You can add lace. I decided that I wanted to add a little twine bow to mine. So just kind of whatever you have laying around the house, buttons, yarn, might be cute, some scraps of fabric. Really utilize what you have and don't go crazy and buy a whole bunch of stuff from Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Okay, and just like the wreath, I am going to glue a loop of twine to the back so that we can hang it on a tree. Wait for that to dry and voila! There you have it, a Victorian Christmas ornament. You can do these in all sorts of shapes, sizes. You can put Christmas cards on your tree as well. Alright, thank you guys for joining us today. I hope you have a Merry Christmas wherever you are, whoever you're spending it with, and as Charles Dickens said in the Pickwick Papers, happy, happy Christmas that can win us back to the delusions of our childish days, that can recall to the old man the pleasures of his youth, that can transport the sailor and the traveler thousands of miles away, back to his own fireside and quiet home.